Do you hate selling? I completely understand. But here's the deal. If you're an entrepreneur, it's going to be really hard to keep on going if you hate selling. So I have a very, very simple solution for the conundrum of if we don't sell, we don't get paid. If we don't sell, we don't eat. If we don't make money, we don't eat. And it looks like it's not working. Feels like my stream is not going live, so well, that's annoying. We're just going to keep on going. All right, I'll just upload the video afterwards if that's what I need to do. All right, so I want to keep this really, really simple because whole books have been written on the topic of sales, and that's something that you can dive into anytime. But we're going to keep this simple. We're going to keep it short and sweet. And if it's simple, it feels doable. And if it's doable, then it's practically done. So this is a part of my series, Entrepreneurship for the Non-Entrepreneur Types, because I was just like you. I used to think I am not the entrepreneur type. I didn't want to be a part of entrepreneurship, but circumstances led that way. It became a way to not only feed our family in the very beginning of the days, but it was the best way to feed our family, like truly, like actually put food on the table. But it then became a way to fund our dreams in a way that a job or a career would not have allowed my husband and I to do. And then finally, and this is the part what I love most about entrepreneurship, is that it became a way to free our soul, as in to bring the best parts of ourselves and our lives and what we've been created to do here on earth to serve the best match of people and to do it in a way that benefits them and benefits us. It's a blessing to all. And I think that's the sweet spot. I think that's the win-win situation that Stephen Covey was talking about. So, talking about entrepreneurship, I want to make 3 simple but impactful points. I think that once you think about them, you'll understand where we're going here. And then I want, in case you really don't feel great about sales, I want to give you a very simple 3-step framework that will help you sell. It will get you started, I promise. It's basically what I use now to close deals that are worth, more than $10,000 at a time. So now, again, sales is a skill that you can keep on refining over and over and over again. And the more you do, the better it gets, the easier it gets. And it's like marketing. The more you put into it, the more it gives back to you. So this is not the end-all be-all. This is literally speaking to the person that feels like selling feels sleazy. And I'm here to tell you that you will starve as long as selling feels sleazy. So we're going to make it to where selling doesn't feel sleazy. It feels like service. And I am with you on this. I was just recently visiting my parents, my mom and my dad. My dad has had a career all of his life, not even a career. He was a highly skilled worker for Fabic and very, very gifted in the things that he did. My mother was mostly a stay-at-home mom with side projects and hustles and things like that. And listening to them, there was one point, I was just with them, one point last week where I am like, this is crazy. Like, from everything you guys say, I realize I did not come by selling naturally. I had to learn how to go from despising it to loving it. So, it was a big jump. But if I do it, you can too. I promise you this. So, first of all, principle number one, tip number one, lesson number one that we need to know is this. Entrepreneurship without sales is a hobby, and it's probably an expensive hobby. If you don't learn sales, then all the money that you're spending to get your business started, which a lot of businesses have a lot of startup costs, is hobby money. And number two, it's like they say, entrepreneurship is where we work twice as hard to make half as much money because there's so much to learn in the beginning. It's got the greatest risk and the greatest potential payoff. But all the time that you're working on your business and in your business and not making sales is money that you could have timed that could have been given towards making money at a simple job. I remember learning this when my husband, he had been doing great sales in cars at a car dealership, having great months. And all of a sudden it ended. They started the economy, it was 2008, 2009, and from one month to the next, it broke down. And he had just started, so he didn't have a great referral base to carry him through the slow times, which is very, very important, and a totally random side note. But I'm not saying that if things slow down, you can't make it through. That's never what I'm saying. I'm saying you want to build up a referral system, but he hadn't had the chance to do that yet. And so he had been selling well, so he had the gift of sales. He had the ability to sell. I shouldn't have said the gift of sales. He had the ability to sell, but they did the cash for clunkers, and it kind of removed the impetus to, it removed a lot of the incentives. And so he was going for weeks without sales, to the point, and the only reason he was doing this business was because he wanted to start his own business and he wanted to have a backup of savings. But it got to be where it's like, well, babe, you can make more money working at McDonald's than you're making at your job. Why don't we just dive headlong into entrepreneurship? That was our story. I don't recommend it for everybody, but when you have nothing to lose, you have nothing to lose and only everything to gain. So entrepreneurship without sales is a hobby. Just remember that. Number two, out of all the tips that I could tell you about selling, actually, I'm going to switch my points around. Selling is not taking money. Point number two, selling is not taking money. It's actually serving. As in, we think, well, I feel bad about taking people's money. You're not taking people's money. You are not the IRS. You are not fining people. You are not, I hope, holding a gun to somebody's head and say, buy or else. You are offering them an opportunity to exchange value for value. The problem is we feel like selling is taking somebody's money because we don't like the way that we are being sold to. As in, sometimes we have purchased something that we later regretted, and we then kind of blamed it on the salesperson, like they talked me into that and I didn't like it. They took my money without telling me all the details. If we'll just own that nobody can actually take our money unless we agree to give it to them, this will help you so much as an entrepreneur. This was a huge hang up for me because I had had such a long story that people were taking my money. No, I don't want to hear the sale. No, don't talk me into it. I saw myself as weak and saw them as being very, very convincing. But once I started seeing myself as, no, I can decide on my own whether I want to exchange my money for the value they're offering me. Which one's more valuable? Sales became so much easier. And also, listening to sales pitches became so much easier. We have speaking of this, it's time for an oil change on our vehicle. And we know that one of our tires is very close to needing to be replaced. And we're the type of person that we don't want to replace one tire unless we replace all 4 tires. But I'm also the type of person that I'm like, look, I know it's close to being replaced, but it's not dangerous to drive on. And I like to get all the value out of the stuff that I've bought. But my husband said, if you go to take the vehicle in for an oil change, they're going to want to talk you into buying tires. And I'm like, that is not a problem anymore. Before it would have been a problem because I'd be like all panicky or mad at them. Like, stop talking to me. You know, it's not the time. We don't have the money, whatever it was. But now I'm like, no, we've got a plan. We're going to buy in the fall. That's our plan. That's when I want to buy new tires. That's when I feel like in my mind I got my usage. They can't talk me into it. Now they might refuse to do service on my oil, and then that changes the equation. That was a side topic again. All right, so know this, that selling is not taking. It's actually serving instead. And it's serving in the highest capacity. As in, if what you are offering is an amazing, amazing product, is an amazing potential opportunity for the other person, then the best thing you can do is offer it to the right kind of people, the people that would benefit the most from it. I love that entrepreneurship at the end of the day is just people making other people's lives better. We're offering them a way to get a result faster, better, easier. We're offering them something that makes them happier, makes their lives better. My husband does painting and remodeling. He loves the fact that when he's finished doing somebody's bathroom upgrade, they're just so happy. The value of their house probably just went up more than he even charged them, and they get the usage of their bathroom. They love it, and he loves, one of the things that he sells is it was easy, as in it wasn't a headache for you. I took care of all the little details, and I took care of all the contractors, and I made what is a very disruptive process as minimally disruptful as possible to your daily life. That is why selling is serving, because potentially they're stuck doing it themselves, or they don't get it at all, or they're buying from somebody who doesn't care as much to deliver that quality as he does. That's why you want to think of, if you're good at what you're doing, then get good at selling so people aren't stuck buying from people who deliver worse quality on the backside. Okay? So selling is not taking money. You can't take money from somebody else. We can just have the mentality that people are taking money because they talked us into it. One of my favorite books actually on this is Persuade for Good. It's written by a pair of women called the Sales Girls. You should look them up on Instagram. They're amazing. I don't even have a link to the book. If you want to get in their funnel, it's worth it. It's a short little read, but it's Persuade for Good. Selling is persuading people for good. In fact, I did an interview with one of them. I'll try to find that and link that in the description. And I just love their stuff. Anyway, so tip number 1, entrepreneurship without sales is a hobby. That's truth number 1. Okay, these are not tips. These are truths. Truth number 2, selling is not taking. It's actually serving somebody by making an offer. And here's why it's also serving, because you have to put forth the effort to make the offer. You know, like that is the service part, is you making yourself findable and unforgettable and making the sales process smoother. I talked a little bit about this in marketing, the other video last week, part of the series. And then 3, finally, I'm going to give you in just a second a simple 3-step sales process. This is as simple as I can possibly make it, but I think it'll really help those who want to sell with as service, not feeling sleazy about it. But what you need to know, what makes those 3 steps work, is this truth right here. And that is that certainty sells. Principle number 3, truth number 3, certainty sells. Now, there's a lot of places where uncertainty can show up. Maybe they don't know you and they don't know if they can trust you yet because you're a stranger. Maybe you don't know them and you're not sure if they're ready to buy yet. Maybe you don't know if they're ready for your solution yet. Maybe there's a lot, maybe they're not even sure what they want yet, or they're not sure they're the person that can, even with your solution, can get what they want with it. They have doubts about themselves. There are so many areas where uncertainty enters in. The confused mind doesn't buy. And the more money you're exchanging, the more certainty you need to create so that they feel like they're in a safe place. Like, oh, of course I would buy from this person. And certainty doesn't take a long time to build up. It's basically something, just don't screw it up. But I like to think of certainty as it is my job as the salesperson to hold a double dose of certainty in the situation. As in, I'm confident on my side of the table, and I also believe in their ability to take action. So this has helped so much, especially like me. I started out as general life coaching and then as confidence coaching. And I realized very quickly, oh my gosh, my potential clients don't even have enough confidence to buy, to buy help to grow in confidence. But the more calm that I was in the process, the more that I didn't get upset or worried about talking about potential money objections or things like that, the more that I was like, or the more that I could answer their deep question of, do you really think it'll work for me? Do you really think it's possible for me? And I would just lean back and say, 100%. And here's why. Here's why. My solution will work for anybody who works it. I've seen it over and over again. People that started out even further behind than you have gotten to where they want. It's the same thing. Certainty sells. So if you're not certain about your price, if you're not certain about your product, if you're not certain about yourself and your ability to deliver it, or if you have doubts about them, those are all 4 areas that you could just hold certainty, work on your certainty, even before you work on your sales skills. Certainty sells more assuredly than the perfect sales script. Remember that. So work on your certainty in all the areas that you possibly can. Hold certainty for them even, if possible. And then you'll just create this environment where they can relax and be like, okay, I feel good about buying. All right. Now let me speak about pricing. This is because people ask me, well, what should I sell this at? And I say there's always 2 ways to price your service. There is the price that you can confidently sell. So this is if you want to work on your sales skills, you're like 100%, like they're crazy if they do not buy this at this price. Like I know it's not the price because the price is obviously so worth it. This is like if you were selling something that's worth $100 for $20. You're like, listen, I just bought thousands of these in bulk and it would cost you $100 to go get it in the store, but you can have it today for $20, and if you buy a bunch of them, you get it even cheaper. It's easy to sell because everybody knows it's $100, and the fact that you're selling it for $20 makes it super easy. So there's the price that you set that you can sell confidently. Or there's the price you set that you want to learn how to sell confidently. Either way, we're going to gain confidence. We're either going to be gaining confidence in our selling skills, or we're going to be, working on our selling skills, or we're going to be working on like our premium skills. So for me, I'm always looking for the fastest way to achieve the most ultimate result in the easiest way. And so that's why I always lean towards, look, if you're going to go through the pain and agony of learning how to sell anyway, then sell at a premium price, because you still have to learn the same skills to sell at lower prices or higher prices. It's the certainty that sells. So instead of me doing the work twice, getting certain at, say, $50, then $100, then $1,000, then $5,000, it's like I would always push my comfort level and then get practice in on selling at that price. But that's me. Either way, you need to know this. There's no price in the world that you could set that would make sales something that you don't have to do, like a no-brainer. Because if you offered it for free, people would then be saying, well, then what's wrong with it? Why are you giving it away? You should be selling it. So there is a piece of the marketing sales that always has to happen. There's a piece of persuasion that has to happen. There's a piece of building trust and trusting you and your product that always does have to happen. Again, go watch the video in the series about marketing. A lot of that can be built up in the marketing side so that the sales becomes easier. The better you get at marketing, the easier it'll get at sales. And when you show up with certainty, the easier it'll get. Okay, so those are the 3 truths about selling that will help you if you hate selling and you don't want to feel sleazy about it, but you do want to eat. Entrepreneurship, number 1, entrepreneurship without sales is a hobby. An expensive hobby at that. I mean, it's costing you coming and going, because it's not only the money you're not making, it's the money you could have been making in the time that you weren't making the money not by doing sales. Number 2, selling is not taking somebody's money. Selling is actually serving. We are trading value for value, and they get to decide what they want more, money or the thing you're selling. And by the way, stop assuming that they'd rather have their money more, okay? I'm starting to realize this more and more, especially as I became a person where my time was worth more than my money. I started getting so frustrated at how many people are trying to save me money when I would rather they be saving me time. And once you start paying attention to it, you see it all over the place. Somebody's like, I got you this discount. All you'll have to do is this and this and this. And I'm like, I'd rather you do all those things for me, not give me the discount. So, selling is not taking, it's serving. So, and then 3, certainty sells. So become a person who is certain in what you're offering to your potential client, and hold enough certainty for the both of you, okay? It will actually help, if at all, give them a measure of certainty. All right, as I promised, I was going to give you a simple 3-step sales process. But if you have no sales process at all, this will be very, very helpful. And if you have a sales process that is so confusing that you get lost in it, then I think this might serve you better, because it'll help you stand more in your certainty of what's going on in the sales process. And on top of that, this just going through the sales process with somebody else is a way of serving your client, is a way that they get served. And you're going to see that, especially in step number 2. Okay, now I've got to look at my notes. Let me get my reading glasses. All right, my 3-step simple sales framework. Number 1, ask them what's missing. What's missing from your life? What are you needing? Why are you here on the call? Because they're showing up because something's missing in their life, no matter what it is. They're wanting more. So when my husband's showing up on a job, it's like, so what are you thinking? What are you wanting? And they'll start telling him, we want to redo the bathroom. We want to redo the kitchen. We want to paint all the walls. And he might even suggest some more things that might be missing. While you're doing that, would you like to do that? Something's missing in their life. That's why they're looking to make a sale. It might even be the prestige that comes from buying the next fancy car. What's missing in your life? I've walked into my favorite clothing boutique, White House Black Market, and what's missing in my life? A new outfit. Do I have clothes? Yes. Am I tired of something? Yes. I'm looking to see, is there anything better than what I've got in my closet right now? Anything to get me excited about? What's missing? Excitement. Okay, so that's question number one. What's missing? Ask and listen. This is just the time to bring out what's missing. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Get them to talk a lot. Get them, make a long list and take good notes on this. What's missing? Don't talk here. Let them talk. Question number two, step number two. Why and why now? So we're going to start out first part of this. It's a two-part question. Why? Why is this important to you? Now, there's always a reason why it's important, and we usually guess and we don't even realize we're guessing. So my husband might go on a job and they're saying, we want to remodel the bathroom. He might be assuming they want to remodel the bathroom for their own pleasure. They might be thinking, we want to remodel the bathroom because we're getting ready to sell our house. In fact, this just recently happened. And sorry, my ear is hitting my earring is hitting my AirPod. And the way that you do a bathroom is very, very different if it's for you to enjoy personally versus if it's for resale. And if it's for resale, my husband, who has flipped many houses, will see the project in a different light, as in, well, you're wanting to put your own personal touches on it when you might want to make it a little bit broader to appeal to more buyers to get a premium dollar amount. Also, it will do you no good to spend money doing this thing if you don't also do this thing, because buyers will be disappointed. Versus if it's, well, we want to do it because we've always wanted to do our bathroom. We've been waiting for a very long time. Then it's like, oh, this is their personal desire. What are the things you dream of? What are the things you want? Let's not, and you're going to be, how long are you going to be living with this? Because if it's for the rest of our lives, then we don't want to chintz on anything. As in, we don't want you walking into the bathroom afterwards and being slightly disappointed that you chose to not put doors on your shower when you really, really, really wanted to have glass doors, seamless glass doors, frameless glass doors, or that you went with, the tile choice or the flooring choice that saved you a couple of dollars a square foot when you really wanted something that it was only going to cost you $1 or $2 more a square foot, like over the grand scheme of things. Totally different. So why? Why is this important? And then, why now? Why is it important to do it now? That creates, tell me why it's gotten urgent. This is going to help you with the next step. But we want to know why and why now. Now, again, let them do almost all the talking. The only questions that you're asking is tell me more, explain why it's so important to you. I want to make sure I understand. Maybe repeat it back. Here's what you need to know. Most people never get a chance to share their needs or their dreams to this level. Just these questions is a beautiful act of service if you're a person who's willing to listen. This is the bulk of the sales call, and this is the bulk of the service. Even if they choose not to go with you, you're going to have served them. You're going to have built up your reputation. They're going to regret not going with you when they go with somebody that's cheaper, does a worse quality, and you might get a referral out of it on the back end, even if you didn't get a sale on the front end, okay? You never know. But these are the easiest questions, and there's no sales involved in these two questions. Question number 3, or statement number 3. Here's how. This is where, in as few words as possible, you explain the benefits of working with you so that they can get exactly what they want. We're more prone to saying too much than saying too little here. This is why certainty sells. So basically, my husband's sales process at the end of that is like, that's great, totally doable. I'll get you a bid. What's your budget? Oh, well, it might be a little bit more than that, especially if they say something low. So they're already thinking about that. But it's like, but here's my process. I come in, I do this, I do that. You don't have to worry about anything. I hire the contractors. He says all the things that takes the weight off their shoulders. But he doesn't have to say much at this point, okay? They feel seen, they feel heard, and then you're just saying, and by the way, if it's not something you do, don't offer. Say, oh, actually, this is not something I offer. Let me help you find somebody who can. But it's very, very simple. For example, when somebody's coming to me, they're listing all the problems in their business or all the problems in their life that is keeping it complicated where they can't focus on their business. And then they are telling me why it's important and why it's important now, like what's making it urgent. And at the very end, I say, okay, so if I understand correctly, you're wanting to accomplish this, and that's completely doable. And here's the reasons why. And then I explain my 3-step process of first we're going to start with this, and then we're going to do this, and thirdly we're going to do this. Does that sound like a good plan? And if it does, then they're ready to buy, and it's just a matter of figuring out logistics, as in, do we need a payment plan or not? Keep it very, very simple. Very simple, okay? Number 1, what's missing? What's missing from your life? Why is this important? Number 2, why is this important and why now? And then 3, here's how I can help. Since it's urgent, since it's important, because this is what you're missing, this is how I can help you get what you're missing because it's important to you and because of these reasons why it's urgent. It closes the loop. That's it. And then the last thing is the goal of any sales conversation, and I would think I wouldn't need to say this except I needed to hear it myself, so I'm going to say it to you guys, is to actually get a yes or a no. If they're like, oh, I'm not sure, then schedule a time to get an actual yes or an actual no. When you're starting out as an entrepreneur or in the very beginning stages of your business or very beginning stages of getting good at sales, you don't want a bunch of maybes crowding your schedule, crowding your mind, taking up space in your brain, okay? You want to get to the yeses and the nos, understanding that there will be both nos and both yeses, but maybes is horrible space for, okay, just imagine it this way. Imagine that you think you're in a relationship, or maybe you're not, or maybe you don't know. You just met this guy and you're like, are we dating for sure or not? Or are we? We haven't had the conversation. So if another guy asks me out, do I say yes? Do I say no? Because how serious are we over here? Do I know? Does he know? I don't want to get ahead of him. It's horrible, right? We don't want to be in that. Don't leave yourself in that. Don't leave the other person in that. So even if they said, I need to think about it, then create a time to end the thinking about it. Okay, how about if I follow up with you in a day or two? Would this work for you? You want to get I never get off the call without a yes or a no or a we're following up on this time to get the yes or no, which to me feels like it's a yes or a no, with the follow-up call. That's my super simple sales system, okay? 3 steps. Because again, remember that sales is serving. It doesn't have to feel sleazy, and it doesn't have to, yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable as you're learning it, but it doesn't have to stay uncomfortable, okay? All right, and sales, let me just say this, one more thing. Sales is important for everybody. As in, you're either selling stuff to make a living or you're selling yourself to make a living. I learned these principles by, when I thought back through my job interviews. I remember going in and, somebody would be like, is this the person to hire? And I'm listening thinking, oh, I'm the perfect person to hire for you. And here's why. As in, I understand what you're looking for, and I understand that the skills I have will make your life easier, make your office run more smoothly, and make your life easier. I know that. I have abundant evidence. All my past employers have been thankful that I helped them, have been grateful, verbally grateful, and they have been sad to see me go. Okay, so why would you be any different? That's the certainty. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to get hired unless I convey that certainty. So I was on the other side of the table then, and that's the same thing for you. Don't think of job interview as sales. So either you're selling products or you're selling yourself as the opportunity to solve their employee problem, okay? All right, I hope this has helped. I hope it's kept it simple. And we've got 1 or 2 more videos in this series. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you look under the playlist. That is where they're all being stored. Entrepreneurship for the non-entrepreneur types. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. And if you have an aha moment, put that in the chat too. It will, just remember your one big takeaway. And share this with somebody